Hey, Seattle Seahawks, you just won the NFL's biggest game. What you gonna do now? Probably not re-sign your Super Bowl MVP. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more right now on Offside Sports. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Offside Sports, live from the Loft 100 studios in Southern California, presented by Turtlebox Audio. Check out their incredible lineup of portable speakers at turtleboxaudio.com. Thanks to Turf & Sons for the turf we sit upon. Turf & Sons, San Diego's #1 choice for turf installation. Find them at turfandsons.com. It is just Dave, Palet, and I sitting here in the studio today. Allison Ratzlaff, she's with us for the show, but she is... Allison, where are you exactly?
I don't disclose my location.
Yeah, she unfortunately she came down with a severe case of the mumps, and she's in quarantine. No, she doesn't.
I'm in Northern California.
Right, she's up in Northern California.
Don't they always say on assignment? Is that what? No
That's
matter what
what it is. She's on assignment. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about the Seahawks and free agency and Kenneth Walker here in just a second. But right before we came on the air today, it was announced that the state of Indiana, I think it's Hampton or something, that Indiana is pushing forward with an agreement to try and finance a stadium in Northwest Indiana for the Chicago Bears. And you're thinking, wait a second, the Chicago Bears are moving, but in this day and age of teams just going where the grass is in fact greener, yeah, this is now this is something that the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois have to worry about potentially, Dave, losing the Chicago Bears. I have never been to Old Soldier or New Soldier, but you do a show with the guy who's in Chicago. Yes. And what does he say about Soldier Field right now?
He said Soldier Field's a disaster. But also where the location is, it's not great. It needs to be redone. They need a new stadium. Everyone claims to want a new stadium. The funny thing is Notre Dame football obviously is in Indiana also.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think Notre Dame, they're in Chicago.
In Chicago, right.
I think until a lot of people saw the movie Rudy, they weren't even aware of what was going on, right? But you look at this, Mike, and a couple different aspects of it is you've had teams that have kind of moved. The New York Jets, New York Giants play in New Jersey. Right?
Sure.
The Kansas City Chiefs are moving from Missouri to Kansas City. Shocker to a lot of people that Kansas City wasn't already in Kansas already. So that's a big eye opener. But when this has failed on certain circumstances in the past, and what has happened is the Rams moved from the LA Coliseum down to Anaheim, which is only 26 miles,
right,
but yet they lost a ton of fans.
Yeah, I mean, it was like they moved to a different state.
Exactly. And if you talk to 49er fans, will say there's nothing like when the San Francisco 49ers were actually in San Francisco. Instead, they play in Santa Clara. And people who covered the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago complained about it.
We've covered Super Bowls up in how bad it is. If the teams are playing in Santa Clara, but they're staying in, we're headquartered in San Francisco. Yeah. Go on, I interrupt.
No, so the last thing I'm going to say is it would be very strange that Indiana, who couldn't get a team, all of a sudden they get the Colts. And then all of a sudden they're getting the Bears too.
Sure.
And so if you're a Chicago sports fan, you understand that of all the teams they have between the Cubs, the White Sox,
Bulls, Blackhawks.
Exactly. The Bears are the #1 team. And to lose them to Indiana, obviously a state that touches. Yeah. I was just there last August and did the drive. It's an easy drive, but the deal is if I lived in Chicago, I don't know if that's what I want to do on a Sunday when I have to work on Monday.
Allison, you've got a cornerstone heritage franchise like the Chicago Bears. And to have them move, it almost goes back to Joe Montana going from the 49ers to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. It's follow the money, right? Yeah. I mean, does it sound weird to say the Indiana Bears, or do you think they'll still call them the Chicago Bears?
They'll still call them the Chicago Bears. When I was growing up, my dad lived in Indiana and did most of his work in Chicago. I mean, I don't know that people that are not familiar with that area realize how close it actually is.
Yep.
In fact, the property that the Bears already own is in Arlington Heights. It's about 32 miles from where they are now.
Right.
Hammond, Indiana is 23 miles from where they are now. So, it's actually a closer site, just in a different state. So, a lot of people don't realize that they think moving to Indiana, a whole new state, but it really isn't far. But having said all of that, I understand how that feels. The Chargers left San Diego, moved to LA. A lot of people, think, well, it's just right up the road. It's really not, but it's more about the name and the feelings and the fan bases and the history
Right.
of where they have always been. It really comes down to that. And so, yeah, it would be very strange. But yes, they would still be the Chicago Bears.
I'm a Raider fan, and that's Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Las Vegas. So I've had to live through it. But the thing about Raider fans is that they're like, we don't care. We're going to be diehards. Where other teams or fan bases are like, you know what, screw you. Dave mentioned when the Rams leave the Coliseum to go to Anaheim, a lot of L.A. Rams fans are like, screw you. Charger fans, Allison just mentioned, my team is dead to me. And then, you've got the Washington Redskins the Commanders, who are in D.C., outside of Virginia. Now they're going, I don't know. It just shows you the power of money in
I also think it shows you the power of TV, Mike.
And the power of TV as well. You're right.
Because, how does it affect us who are, all three of us are huge NFL fans.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't affect us. We're still going to watch the NFL no matter where the Bears are at. We're going to watch Bears games.
Yep.
But it doesn't affect us unless we're season ticket holders. And the NFL has made it clear that the people who buy tickets to the games really don't matter. It's all about TV money.
Yeah,
it's so true.
I mean, yeah, that's one of the main reasons the Chargers moved. Although I don't know if it, in reality, helped them, but I do think that is what it comes down to. But also, people, the general public, a lot of people do not feel like they want to help these millionaire or billionaire owners
Right.
finance their new stadiums. They want them to be able to do that themselves. And if you own a team, you should be able to provide their home.
Yeah. Well, the Bears are going to throw $2 million towards it. They're also going to, state of Indiana is going to, or that area of Indiana is going to, there's either going to be a toll road tax, or they're going to double the hotel room tax from 5% to 10%. There's going to be, concessions and all sorts of taxes that has to deal with the football team as well to raise the other money. But again, the TV money is such that it's like, hey, fans be damned. We're going to go where the grass is greener, green being the color of money.
Exactly.
So just keep this on your radar, NFL fans. Chicago Bears might soon be the Indiana Bears.
And there are only three, going to your point, Allison, the only three NFL teams that are 100% financed by owners. Only 3 out of 32. It's the Rams, it's the Patriots, it's the 49ers.
Yep.
Everyone else has gotten help from their cities.
Had to. Right. Well, nowadays, I think it's either you have the finances to do it yourself, but you're like, I'm not going to put all my cookies into that jar. This city, this state, you want it so bad, you're going to help me. You're going to help me pay for it. Speaking of paying for things, Kenneth Walker helps the Seattle Seahawks roll over the Patriots in Super Bowl 60, 29-13. And now odds are that your Super Bowl MVP is not going to be a Seattle Seahawk next season, because he's expecting the big money. Can see how, you've got Charbonnet coming off a blown knee, so that's something that the Seahawks management has to think about. But Dave, when you look about, is that a good look or a bad look? Your Super Bowl MVP is like, deuces, I'm wearing another jersey next year.
Well, it comes down to the Seahawks saying, well, how important is he? Are you paying a guy for what he's done?
Or what's he going to
do?
Yeah.
And we talked about the running back situation. It flips so fast. And he's a tremendous talent, but it could be over soon. And for the the Seahawks to sit there and say, well, we don't have a quarterback on a rookie deal, so we can save money.
Yep.
You now are paying Sam Darnold a certain amount of money, and you're paying other stars a certain amount of money, and they have a young team. You're going to have to pay those guys too. So overall, if you're the Seahawks, yeah, it stinks if you're a fan because you love him.
Sure.
And he's a tremendous talent, but do you need him to say we're going to sit there and risk losing a future cornerback or a defensive end or whatever the situation is? You can replace that running back position in the NFL.
Allison, is he just the new shiny object, or is it a major mistake for Seattle if they let this guy walk?
Well, I think they should keep him, but I also think anybody that is going to put out the money to take him, there are a blown ACL and an Achilles away from an injury. It's such a risk. It really is, especially at the running back position. It is their bodies just don't hold up as well as, the general position, but running back is especially brutal. And I think, do people want to risk that? And like you said, and then there goes all your money when you really have a need at
Right.
on defense or your O-line or whatever else it may be. I think it's a risk, but I that's why I just think Seattle should just, bump up his money, keep him if he'll stay for that. I mean, but players want to go where they can get the most money.
And you can also franchise tag him. Free agency starts March 11th. If you're Seattle, as we go to break here, you don't want to be the Raiders and Larry Brown, who they signed after his big Super Bowl winning game, couple interceptions with the Cowboys. Raiders bring him over, doesn't do anything, gone in 2 seasons. No, I'm not still bitter. The NBA All-Star festivities were this past weekend. How healthy is a league that continually has to revamp its All-Star format? We have the numbers next as Offside Sports rolls on right after this. Offside Sports continues from the Loft 100 studios in Southern California, presented by Turtlebox Audio. Find their awesome lineup of portable speakers, turtleboxaudio.com. Thank you, as always, to Harry Arnett, Mark Wahlberg, everybody at Municipal for being the official wardrobe sponsor of Offside Sports. Municipal, bet on yourself. You can find them at municipal.com. Dave Palet, Mike Costa with you here in studio inside the Loft 100 studios. Allison Ratzlaff, our third co-host, on assignment, as they say. All we know is that she's up in Northern California. I had no idea that your dad was in the publishing and radio business, Al.
Yeah, he was the newspaper publisher at the Oakland Tribune, and then with the Arkansas Democrat, and then the Elkhart Truth, and owned a group of radio stations in the Midwest, Chicago, and Indiana area.
So he could have given us jobs and stuff when we were all getting out of college instead of having to go through the hell we had to go through. Now you tell us.
It's been in my blood since I was born.
I love it.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the NBA All-Star festivities this past weekend?
I did not. I just did not. The All-Star
You sound almost guilty. I did not, Father. I did not.
I really ever want to go to is if I can go in person. I think it would be fun. And I've been to baseball All-Star games. I've always had a great time. But the TV ones, they just don't interest me. I didn't watch a peep of the Pro Bowl either. So
you mean the flag football competition?
I mean, I don't know. Do these guys want to be doing this? What if they get injured? Speaking of injuries, I just think it's a risk, and I don't know. What really is the point of it? You guys tell me.
Well, I think it's Dave. You're an NBA fan?
Yeah, I covered the NBA for 10 years, covering the Lakers and Clippers for 10 years.
Did you watch any of the All-Star game?
It's funny. It used to be a can't-miss thing for me. As a kid, I loved it. I loved it back in the day when Spud Webb was in the slam dunk contest. I loved it when it was Larry Nance and Dr. J. And you look back at the dunks, and they're embarrassing how bad they are compared to what you see now. But I've been in person. I loved everything about the NBA, and I'm so turned off right now of what's happening in the NBA. And so it was in L.A.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've been to a few of them in Los Angeles, which I think, honestly, they should keep in L.A. or Madison Square Garden every single year. Forget, this is not one that should travel.
Yeah.
All the arenas are basically the same, but it's different when you have a big, famous fan base. But overall, Mike, it was terrible. And they're trying to fix it. It was great back in the 80s, and dating myself, when you had Magic Johnson on one team and you had Isaiah Thomas on the other, and they were the guys that dictated the rhythm of the game.
Yeah.
Now it's just wide open, layups, dunks. It's complete waste of time. It's not competitive. It's embarrassing for the league. The league is struggling big time right now. Actually, as a guy that's a basketball fan, I hate the way the NBA is right now. The load management has killed this game. And to say, hey, look, I got tickets, and if you were to tell me, hey, guess what, Allison and I, we're going up and we're going to see LeBron or we're going to see Luka, and he's going to play against Wemby.
Yep.
And then you get there and 2 of the 3 guys aren't playing, but you still paid all that money for the tickets. As a fan, which the NBA doesn't seem to care about, you're ripped off, and the brand stinks right now.
As far as the ratings are concerned, it's one of the higher rated All-Star games in years past They peaked at about 10 million viewers across Peacock and NBC and the platforms that they were on.
So there's an argument against those.
Average about 8.8 million. Allison, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Allison, they're skewed because the Olympics is going on the same station at the same time. So those ratings are skewed.
Oh, I have a theory on it also. I think you're exactly right. I was going to hit on that with the Olympics, and I also think the weather across the country has been pretty terrible. And so I think people are in the NFL ended, and I think people are inside and they're just trying to find something to watch. So I think that has a little something to do with it.
Yeah.
And NFL postseason depression, all of those things. So I think that plays into it. Did people put it on their calendar, must-see TV? I don't know about that. I mean, when my boys were young growing up, they loved the dunk contest.
Yes.
They loved it. I mean, it was that, loved it. But again, does anybody really have this on their calendar circled? Like, got to watch the NBA All-Star game?
Well, okay, so it was 4.7 million people tuned in last year, which was a disaster for the NBA. So obviously, 8.8 to 10 million people across those platforms is great for the league. But I'm like you, Dave, and Allison, I was like your little boys when I was that age. You couldn't wait to see them play, and you couldn't wait to see those, Lakers players having to go against Boston Celtics players and, Bulls players when Michael Jordan was just running the league. And they were playing to win the game.
Yes.
And you're like, this is so awesome. And I remember tuning, making, hey, so-and-so plays so-and-so Saturday night or whatever it was in the NBA Sunday. I'm tuning in to watching that. Dave, Allison, I could not tell you the last time I made appointment viewing to sit down and watch an NBA game. It's been so long. And I don't know if it's just because the product is watered down, because these guys don't look like they're giving any effort until we hit the playoffs.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because the politics that has entered into it, but it is a horrible product. Allison, you mentioned if you're going there, you're in person. If you've got good seats, let's say at a place like Staples Center where we've all seen games before, that's one thing. But to sit there and to have to sit through that crap for 2 hours on a television, I could see where the NBA is in trouble financially.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. It's fun to go in person, but I haven't watched any NBA since the playoffs last year. And that's probably when I'll pick it up this year. And as somebody who's works in sports, not just this show, but other areas, I can't get into it on a day-to-day basis. Dave, and also the season feels like it's a century long, and people say that about baseball too. Now baseball, I will sit and watch, but I don't know. It's just different.
It literally is. Congratulations to who won the NBA championship last year. That's how tuned out I am.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you go right away, because I was thinking when you said the last time you tuned in, I bet you I could guess. It was when LeBron played against Steph Curry in the finals.
Yes.
And that was almost 10 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
That's probably the last time you tuned in and go, I got two superstars on both sides. I want to see what happens.
So Adam Silver, he presents the Larry O'Brien championship trophy, and then I swear to God, the next day, all right, we're tipping off the NBA season. I mean, that's Allison, to your point about how long and drawn out the season is.
By the way, it was Oklahoma City Thunder.
Thank you. God. Okay, but Dave, I ask you, does the NBA care that old man me yelling at clouds doesn't watch the NBA and thinks it's boring? Does the NBA care that Allison, who now has grown men as sons who are, I would assume, still NBA fans, or the mom, Allison, doesn't watch the NBA? Do they even care about that?
Well,
because we're not the core.
Well, the core is what they say is the audience 25 to 54. That's always the sports audience. That's the audience that spends money on cars, buys insurance, buys houses. That's their audience. They're the ones that can afford the tickets or the luxury boxes. So it's one where the NBA should care that it's not talked about a lot here. Also, people want to say there's a big issue with the players, the Europeans that have come over. It's like we used to see guys that would make it through college, they'd stay 3 or 4 years,
Right.
become attached to them.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you're getting a guy like Luka you never heard about until he got here, or you're getting a Jokic and a Giannis, a Wemby, and it goes even Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's from Canada. When's the last time an American-born player won MVP of this league? It's been a long time. And so some people want to make it political, like you said, on why they won't watch, Mike. But I'll be honest, I think the number one problem with the NBA is the calendar's messed up. The NBA should start on Christmas Day. There's no reason the NBA should start in October against college football and the NFL.
It gets swallowed up.
And you start on Christmas Day, you keep the season longer. When the summertime comes around and you're sitting there going, it's just baseball. We only have baseball. Guess what? You could run the NBA into August. And now it doesn't become a big of a deal if, Mike, you have a contract in Milwaukee and go, I'm tired of freezing in Milwaukee. Guess what? The weather changes faster. You can enjoy the summer in Milwaukee, Minnesota, wherever you are.
Yeah.
But the calendar's messed up for the NBA.
Well, and also remember the playoffs and the finals used to end around Memorial Day. Then it kept creeping closer to Father's Day. Last year it was past Father's Day. I mean, it's just extended way too long. Maybe each series in the playoffs is too long. I don't know.
All money.
Yeah, again, like
100%.
it is all money, and I think that you know what really screws it up. And Allison, to your point about, or Dave's point about the calendar and stuff, it used to be, hey, you played a game, you traveled, and you played a game the next night, and that's the way it went. Now you've got at points some major gaps in the schedule, especially when it comes to the playoffs, when everybody is tuning in. But then people like me are like, okay, is there a game tonight, or where do I? And that is another thing, Dave, to what you're saying about the schedule and the calendar being screwed up. And then you've got this format, as we put a bow on it, with the All-Star game, where it's the world versus the United States versus the whatever. It's bad. It's bad. All right, the branding in professional sports ain't bad by current and former athletes. It's at an all-time high. One former Dallas Cowboy has hit a home run with his beverage. We'll talk about that, what the hits and misses have been in the sports branding world next. Don't go anywhere. Sports rolls on from the Loft 100 studios in Southern California, presented by Turtlebox Audio. Find them at turtleboxaudio.com. This portion of the show presented by Bebemos Tequila, made for those who chase the sun. Find your bottle at wedrinktequila.com. All right, when I was thinking about this as I was driving up today, and I was thinking about tennis shoes, because we're talking about athlete branding, and I think I'll ask the question of you both. I think I know exactly who you're going to say when I ask you the question. But I did extra chores and I saved my allowance. And I wanted a pair of Puma low-cut tennis shoes. Yeah. The astronomical price of $25. My dad said, I'm not paying $25 for a pair of shoes. You're going to save your money and get them. I saved them. My mom took me to Sportland in La Mesa. Yep. And I remember bringing those home, and it was just, I didn't want to put them on. I just wanted to sit there and look at them. I couldn't believe that I had them. And you fast forward to today. Dave, as soon as I asked you, what do you think is the most popular brand in professional athletics or amateur athletics, who are you going to say?
Oh, it's Nike.
Okay.
It's Nike. It's the Jordan brand.
Okay.
You know?
Allison, were you going to say that too?
Yes.
Okay, the Jumpman.
Yes, and it's funny. I know exactly what shoes Mike wanted because I wanted the same shoes Mike had. Nothing worse than getting those shoes and going, man, I finally got them.
Yep.
And then you step in a pile of dog gas.
Oh, my God.
All those little squares on the bottom. It's almost impossible to ever get them clean again. It's the worst shoe to step in dog gas with.
And then you go to school and everyone's like, oh, brand new shoes. And you're running the whole day like you got a hot foot because they're trying to step on them and stuff. I'm sorry, Christy, our executive producer, I almost cursed right there. I'm not going to. Well, we mentioned a former Dallas Cowboy is hit a home run, and it's Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. And he is the founder and owner of 8 Beer. It's a light beer. Launched the company to offer a healthier, higher quality light beer, and it's kind of taken Texas and Oklahoma by storm. Obviously, Troy, I want to say Troy's an Oklahoma kid, played at Oklahoma, transferred to UCLA here, and then went obviously onto a Hall of Fame career with the Dallas Cowboys. But there's a guy who I'm going to assume all three of us are very big fans of Troy Aikman.
Yes.
There's really not a lot of things to hate about him. I'm sure that there's people that listen to him with Joe Buck on Monday Night Football going, screw you, Troy Aikman. But he gets paid to give him.
You just met him on Monday Night Football.
I did. I met him. I met him in November. Could not have been nicer. What a great guy. And we got into a conversation about UCLA leaving the Rose Bowl, and Troy's getting all fired up and stuff. And he goes, "Oh, okay, I gotta go get ready for the broadcast." But you get a guy like Troy Aikman, and you're not going to find a lot of people that have anything bad to say about Troy Aikman, right?
Yeah, he's a good guy. I mean, all the way through, you don't hear bad things about Troy. And obviously, a tremendous football player. He won 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And now that he has a product to put his name on, that's awesome to me.
Now, 8-Beer. Go ahead, Allison. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it was so much more than just putting his name on a brand. He really developed. He was very, very integral in developing 8-Beer. He really wanted something that was lighter without all the fillers and adjuncts that a lot of other light beers have. But
sure, healthy for you.
Right, but also because he lives a very, very fit and healthy lifestyle. But the other thing that was very important to him was taste. He so many light beers that you could take all that out and it tastes terrible.
Right.
So that was really important to him, and by all accounts, everybody finds it to be very delicious.
Now we're going to do 8-Beer, and the folks at 8-Beer a little favor here. Our partner Allison, Dave Palet, brought up something up right before the show when I said we're going to talk about 8-Beer, and we're going to give you this for free. You can take this, run with it, and go make another $50 million. Dave, tell the people at 8-Beer what your idea is.
Okay, here's the deal is, obviously, Troy, I hope you're listening, and Allison, I know you know him personally. Here's the deal. Forget the 6-pack. This needs to be an 8-pack of beer. It's already called 8-Beer. Why don't you become the first company to sell beer in an 8-pack?
8-Beer, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's why we get paid the big bucks to do your job for you. Absolutely, it should be served.
Yeah.
Or you can sell it or buy it in an 8-pack. Allison, you agree? Can you get that message to Troy for us? We know you have the inner channels.
I will do my best.
Unbelievable. So I'm
surprised he hasn't thought of that. He's a pretty brilliant businessman, in my opinion. I think I'm pretty surprised if that isn't already a thing that it's not. So
yeah, you know what? I'm sure it's going to be very successful. He said it's very popular in the places where he's been.
Right.
Mike and I tried this thing about 15 years ago, and it did not work. Our beer was called S-Faced, and it didn't work. We thought it was going to be popular, but Troy and this 8-Beer is awesome. Everyone says it's great, and as he said, he lives a fit life. How many people do you know that drink beer and actually look fit? Troy looks fit as anybody.
Yeah, not a lot of them. And I'm living proof that if you drink beer, you're not going to look like Troy Aikman. So you've got athletes who have hit, massive home runs. Obviously, Troy Aikman and 8-Beer. We mentioned Michael Jordan and the Jumpman brand. $5 billion a year the Jumpman brand brings in. At his heyday, Tiger Woods.
Yes.
Another brand, and it's Nike, but still, kids everywhere, I've got to have the Tiger Woods whatever if you're going to go start to play golf. Tom Brady's another guy who's still doing it with the TB12, but now we see him, and it's not these guys really haven't kind of formulated and invented, Allison, their own product like Troy Aikman has, but obviously very successful being spokespeople for other brands. Look at Tom Brady now, and the first time I saw him in the Pizza Hut commercial, I was like, what the hell is Tom Brady there? But now it's one of the most popular commercials on TV.
Yeah, there's so many very famous athletes that are doing this, and also it's expanding out to their spouses in a lot of cases. Look at Steph Curry's wife. She has a whole line of cookbooks and barbecue restaurants, and so I think once you have that name and you can attach it to your brand and expand on that, and people want to feel close. Fans want to feel close to their sports idols. And that's a way to do it. And they make it, if they have a good business plan and a good team around them, they can create a great product that does really well.
I think it also has to do a lot with the position that you play as an athlete. Like, as Michael Jordan wasn't overly tall. He didn't look weird. Everything about Jordan was cool.
Yeah.
Where you could go out with a basketball and pretend you were Michael Jordan. You know, Troy Aikman was a quarterback. You can throw the ball in the backyard and pretend you're Troy Aikman throwing the ball. But, I mean, when you're Kareem, what are you going to do? Go out there and pretend you're 7'2" and throw hook shots all over the place and keep chasing the ball because you can't ever make a shot? I mean, it's not cool. No offense to Shaq either, but how many guys are built like Shaq? But when you're a kid, you can dream of being Michael Jordan.
Yeah. You're not going out in the backyard and saying, I am the greatest center in the National Football League.
Yes, right.
Hike it to the garage door and they get yelled at because the garage door has all these football marks on it. So, some of the best, the most successful we just talked about. Tiger Woods, Tom Brady. Serena Williams is another one who's done great for herself. Obviously, Troy Aikman and 8-Beer. Some of the worst, and I looked up, I think it was the top 10 worst brands that have been, I guess, unveiled. And you want to take a guess at what number one with a bullet?
Ready? I'm going to go LA Gear.
Oh, no, LA Gear's not on the list, Dave.
No way.
Allison, what about you?
Oh, gosh.
Can I guess again?
You go. You tell me
Big
yours.
Baller.
Boom! We have a
that's
winner,
good one.
ladies and gentlemen. The Big
Yes.
Baller brand started by Lonzo Ball's dad, LeVar Ball, and a $495 signature shoe.
Wow.
And this, they took all these orders. It took forever for people to get the shoes, and then people realized the shoes were just absolute crap.
Yeah.
Big Baller brand is number one with a bullet. Believe it or not, number two on the list was Allison was Greg Norman and great his Shark golf wear. That
Yeah.
people are like, oh my God, Greg Norman, and then they're like, whoa, this Greg Norman, who cares?
Well, and Johnny Manziel and Johnny Football, that didn't last long either.
Nope. He's actually number 4 on the list of the top 10 flameouts. Number 3 is Kawhi Leonard with the claw.
Yeah.
And then you had the logo lawsuit with his, and people are like, okay, what is this brand? What's the shoe? That type of thing. And the legal battle really stalled his brand. You had others like Allen Iverson, his Reebok legacy. That dropped off terribly. Michael Vick, for the obvious reasons. No one wanted to buy his dog food brand. Kevin Durant, there was media brand confusion, and then he had burner counts on social media. And then Derrick Rose had like a almost $200 million deal with Adidas, but nothing really came of it. His troubles on the court and stuff kind of hampered that as well.
No, overall, Nike did a great job. Little Penny was a great one.
Little Penny was a great one. I'm so impressed that Big Baller brand, number 1. All right, spring training is in full swing in Major League Baseball as teams get set for opening day. Team owners are getting set to open their bank vaults for another massive payday. We'll look at the haves and the have-nots next as Offside Sports rolls on. Our final segment here on Offside Sports, brought to you by Turtlebox Audio. Live free, listen louder. Find their amazing lineup of outdoor Bluetooth speakers, turtleboxaudio.com. Thank you to Paul Teron, everybody at 84 Lumber in Otay Mesa, California. Supplied us with the building materials for our set. Reach out to Paul for all your building questions and needs at paul.teron84lumber.com. Dave Palet and Mike Costa with you here in studio. Allison Ratzlaff is on assignment in Northern California. Kind enough, though, to zoom in. Baseball season, spring training, you guys, absolutely in full swing. It'll be just a matter of weeks before we hear play ball for real. Excited about, well, okay, Dave Palet is a diehard Los Angeles Dodger fan, and he has been that way since I've known him. He has never been a fair weather whatever. He's always been a Dodger fan. Excited for the season upcoming, or is it like, we won the World Series last year, maybe a little bit of drop off this year?
No, I'm always excited for baseball. Even if the Dodgers weren't supposed to be good this year, I love baseball. I'm one of those guys that watches a ton of games. I always try and see something I've never seen before, but I absolutely love it. And so the fact that the Dodgers are supposed to repeat, it's even better. Again, if there's a work stoppage and they have a chance of a three-peat, that's even better. Look, my team's in a certain situation compared to Allison's team that's put together by Scotch tape. So I think it's going to be exciting for me.
Allison Ratzlaff, rebuttal.
Well, I am also excited, and I'll tell you, I was in the airport the other day, not in San Diego, up in Northern California, and somebody in front of me was walking, and somebody was walking towards him, and the guy looks at the guy in front of me and was like, "Hey, go Pods!" And I didn't realize that the guy had a Padres hat on, and I was cracking up because they both had Padres hats on, and I don't know where they were from, but I was like, "Oh, look at us!" But
Simpatico.
I'm very excited. I have to say, this whole MLBPA thing has me very nervous.
Yep.
That we will have a big extended lockout next year, and that makes me sad because I would really, really miss it. There's so much baseball. It's got it all, and I think some of the things they've done in the past year or two have made it more fun, and the players are they're just more fun, entertaining. The shortened up game with the pitch clock, like there's a lot of great things that have happened, in my opinion, that have made the game even more fun.
We are going to have a lockout unless a miracle happens. You look at baseball and you look at baseball ownership.
Yep.
And the money that a lot of these owners are worth, and Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, is the richest baseball owner at well over $23 billion, worth $23 billion. Edward S. Rogers, who owns the Toronto Blue Jays, poor at $19 billion. Mark Walter, who owns the Los Angeles Dodgers, though, at $7.3 billion. So it starts to drop off by then. And then you get the Monfort family in Colorado, the poorest team, and he's worth $700 million. We'd all love to be poor and worth $700 million, but are we really at that point now, Dave, where it's just such a massive gap between the haves and the have-nots? The haves can spend the money and get the players because it's all about winning, and it's all about how much money you're willing to spend. That is the recipe now. They're not cheating.
No. So, and not to correct you, I'm going to correct you. I think the Reds are the poorest team.
I'm sorry, you're right.
$400 million.
Cincinnati Reds are at $400 million. My bad.
And to give an example of that amount of money, $400 million for an owner of a Major League Baseball team, a team that was in the playoffs a year ago. Manny Machado's contract, when it expires, will have over $500 million. So you have a player that made more than an owner of a team. So yeah, there's an issue going on.
Yeah.
But the Reds, again, were a playoff team. And if you listen to Chris Bassett yesterday, who's now with the Orioles, he came out and said, look, this whole work stoppage thing that might happen, the one thing that the Major League Baseball Players Associations have never done, they won't agree to a salary cap. The NFL has a salary cap.
Yep.
And guess what? You had a dynasty with the Patriots. You had a dynasty with the Chiefs. The Eagles have been to a bunch of Super Bowls. It doesn't equal which team has a better chance to win. It's how the organizations are run. And so, Jeff Passan on ESPN, who I trust, actually was the first guy to come out that I saw say he does not believe there's going to be a stoppage for the fact that all the new TV money that's coming out, the owners get paid next year. And if there's a work stoppage, guess what? They don't get those checks.
Not get that money.
And the owner of the Reds needs it, the owner of the Rockies needs it. Everybody wants that money. And for Alice and I, who are huge baseball fans, we don't want to see a stoppage.
Can you say after the show today, I want to talk to you about correcting me on air? But I don't want to do it right now.
Did you notice I kept my lips zipped? I didn't say
It was one of those, as soon as I said Rockies, I went, no, it's the Cincinnati Reds, you moron. Allison, what does that do? You are one of the most diehard baseball lovers I know, and you're one of the most diehard female baseball lovers that I know. I mean, does that absolutely, do you then cling to this upcoming season so much harder, knowing that there's a great chance of this thing going away?
Absolutely. And what it makes me hurt for are people, the players who are starting to get older
Yep.
And, and even our co-host CJ, he's 28 years old. And so you start to think about, gosh, if he loses a whole year of his career, or you look at even the older players like Manny Machado, who I love, you see him he's already older. And now what's he going to, miss a whole year? And I just think that you're going to have guys kind of check out. And I don't know. I think it's really going to be terrible for the game. I think you'll lose a lot of fans. People will come back.
Will they?
Well, that's a good question. And I think, are people getting fed up with greed and all this money? And, some people are, having trouble putting meals on their tables. I don't know.
Right.
I think you'll lose some people probably for good. Yeah.
Okay. And Allison, I look at it, and Dave, I look at baseball as it's one of those, it really is probably the closest to family entertainment as you can get. I would never take my family to an NFL game, NBA, NHL. I don't know if I'm doing that, but you see families at baseball games.
Yes.
And it's so, and Allison, you said baseball has done such a great job with the players and kind of making them realize, hey, there's a bunch of little kids watching you guys. You're their heroes. Kind of live up to it, Dave. But you got families who grasp onto this, and they're, hey, this is, we skimp, we save, we sacrifice to come to the game once in a while. Yeah. And you millionaires and billionaires now are just taking that away from us. You think the fans come back?
You know what? It's always a huge question. The big thing that saved baseball in '94, remember there's a lockout, and they just stopped the season in August.
Yeah.
And Tony Gwynn had a chance to hit 400 that year. That was cut short. But then there's no World Series. I wanted to see a class action lawsuit from Major League Baseball fans to say we didn't get a World Series. But they didn't follow. Season ticket holders should have said we invested. We never got a conclusion. In '95, what saved baseball was Hideo Nomo, Japanese player, comes over, huge amount of interest.
Yep.
Okay. And also Cal Ripken Jr. was chasing the consecutive game streak. And then all of a sudden in '98, you had the steroid thing, home runs. Home runs put people back as fans. I don't know what you could possibly bring after, let's say, a year or two lockout to say what brings the fans back. It's a dangerous game to play.
Well, it's not as if, the owners are going to say, okay, you know what, it's bad that we had the lockout. We've been gone for a year, maybe 2 years. And we're going to cut the price of tickets in half. We're going to cut the price of beer in half. We're going to cut the price of hot dogs in half. A T-shirt that costs you $50 will now only cost you $25. That ain't going to happen.
No.
There's no baseball owners that are Arthur Blank.
No.
Like he cut concessions down for fans in Atlanta with the Falcons. All right, who we got to bet on this week in the world of sports? The bet of the show is presented by our friends at OwnersBox Daily Fantasy. Sign up at OwnersBox.com with our code Offside, or download the OwnersBox app, sign up, and use the code Offside. Click on OwnersBox.com. Start playing today. All right, Allison Ratzlaff, we have, I believe it's just NBA right now that we're choosing from. Or I guess you could have chosen from the Nissan Open or whoever sponsors it
and
now.
Hockey, you can do hockey.
That's right, the Genesis Open in Los Angeles for golf. But we've all gone NBA. Who is your bet tonight?
I have Steph Curry having more than 24.5 points over against the Boston Celtics.
Okay, that is Allison's bet. Dave, who were you going with?
I put a lot of time into this one. Did a lot of work on this one, and for me, I just want to, if anything, I just want to do better than Allison. So here's the deal. I'm going former net James Harden, now playing against the Nets, more than 20.5 points.
Okay.
As he's now with the Cavs, but I think James Harden sticks it to his old team.
I think so too. He's been averaging over 25.5 points a game this year, but we both did that research, so it's good to know that we're on the same page. I am going with, is it Pascal or Pascal?
Pascal.
Pascal Siakam. I'm going with him. Siakam, excuse me. More than 23.5 points tonight in his game at Washington. All right, those are our bets of the show. As we put a lid on this episode of Offside Sports, a massive thank you to everybody here at the Loft 100 Studios for making this show possible. Thanks to Turtlebox Audio, Municipal Clothing, Bebemos Tequila, Chase the Sun at WeDrinkTequila.com, 84 Lumber for their support and partnership, and Turf & Sons for the surface of a brand new stage. Click on turfandsuns.com today. Most of all, Thanks to you for hanging out with us. For Dave Palet and Allison Ratzlaff, I'm Mike Costa. We will see you next time.